Hello boys, I hope we are all good. This might be one of the best weeks to make coins on FC26. I feel like we say that every week at this point, but in today's Market Watch video, boys, you should see there are so many ways this week you could not just make coins, but double or triple your coins, right? But there is so much you need to know, so lock in, sit down, let's jump into it. Forget these silvers for now. We'll jump into them later in the video. We're going to start with what we did this week, because I think it's really good to update you boys on what we did before we jump into what's coming next with content. So just as an update, boys, if you're not in the Twitch live streams, we did sell all of our team of the weeks that we were speaking about on some of the previous videos. We only made around 150 to 200,000 coins on these. We did really well lazy selling. Gold Fodder just ended up being a much better play. EA's SBC requirements did us over just a little bit, but in general, Gold Fodder was a better play. So we still made 200,000 coins, but we could have done better. But it was not to worry, boys, because on Friday, like I say, live on stream, we did amazing with icon flips, and we could have done even better. I think it's going to be really interesting to show you these icon graphs, right? It was kind of crazy what happened on Friday with the Pogba drop and the promo drop, but we did amazing with icons. We made about 200,000 coins in what was a couple hours. And if we jump over to Footbin, we've got it up here somewhere, right? This was the index icons on Friday. And it made sense maybe after the fact, but this is crazy. I never expected this, okay? So Friday promo drops and icons dip right here. That makes a lot of sense. We trade icons all the time, boys. I've taught you guys how to do this, right? Icon trading, they dip on, Friday promo with the packs, and then they rise afterwards. People buy the weekend league teams. But this was a bit mental, okay? Yes, people have got coins and starting to get coins from different things, but that was not a natural rise. What I think happened was that Pogba came out and was probably the most completed SBC we've seen so far. He's right up there at least anyway, right? 200,000 coins for that SBC is great value. And so many people just needed a link in their team to him. So icons did really well. Pretty much anything that linked to Pogba. So French, League, icons, and then some of the heroes that linked to Pogba flew. This is ridiculous, boys. So if we jump back into the photo, right? What we seen was, for example, this Miyama was 309. She jumped up past this like 330, 340 that we sold. We sold 309. She jumped way past that. We sold these two Steffi Jones. I think it was 235 and 239. And she ended up going to about 300,000 coins at the peak of that graph. If you see here, like right at the peak, she got to like 300,000 coins. So it was absolutely mental, but it did mean we could make some huge coins and icons on Friday. So we got up to about 2.3 million coins liquid live on stream. And then we decided to do silvers. So what you seen at the start of the video was silvers. This is what we're doing all week. People on the Discord are looking at it as well with us. Silvers have basically been an absolute gold mine this last week, and they will be absolutely amazing in the coming weeks. I do want to jump into them in detail later in the video, and I'll jump into not only just investing in them, but also club stocking them and just flipping them as well. You can flip them and snipe and, bid on them and then sell them instantly for so much profit throughout the week. So I really want to jump into that later. When I'm talking about there's going to be so much profit this week, silvers is really a big crux of that. So yes, we've got big things coming, but don't overlook silvers. We'll jump into that later. But yeah, that's what we did so far. So team of the week sold, icons we absolutely smashed, and now we're looking at silvers. We want to try and break that 3-4 million barrier in coins really quick on the account. And one thing we did not look at recently, boys, was meta. And let me explain why. We always like looking at meta in Market Watch videos. I think it's the most important thing to know how to trade. It's the biggest skill you can learn, just not just for now, but for every FIFA. Learn this, your coins can fly every year. We didn't touch meta. Let me show you why, right? Diani, for example, did do really well on Friday, more because of Pogba, right? If you look at this, she's a Pogba link, so she went from 55 to 67,000 coins. And if you go and look at some of the graphs of the Liga and players like Pacho, Nuno Mendes, Marquinhos flew. They did ridiculous, okay? We're not talking about Friday where they were just pure Pogba investments and they flew. But in general, right, if we look at yesterday's graph, meta essentially has a really obvious pattern on the weekends. It is such an obvious buy. There's a guy going out on Discord about it just for free. I want to put out in terms of meta flipping. Because what happens is the same pattern where content drops on the weekend days and it brings the prices down because people have been buying their team for weekend leagues, so they stay high. And then content drops. This was yesterday, Saturday, brings the prices down. And then we should start seeing demand into the evening as people buy up their teams again and that content supply is dipped. But what happened yesterday with meta was, and the reason we didn't invest in it was exactly what we don't want to see, where there's no demand, okay? So look at this Diani, for example. She dropped down to 52,000 coins after content, and she just didn't really get back up anywhere overnight. She got up to 53,000 coins, not really any demand at all. 1,000 coins on a 52,000 coin card is nothing. So if you look, right, you could have bought her at 52k, she got to 53, and she's falling again. So not a good investment. That is as simple as meta can be when I look to buy. It is all about the demand after content if we're looking to buy it overnight in that UK overnight window. Let's look at someone else again. I think Vatina should be fine. We obviously had a lot of centre mids recently, but the hype should have died down a little bit. So we take a look again. On Friday, he got killed because of Pogba. So everything that linked to Pogba went up. every centre midfielder that Pogba replaced went right down. But we look at yesterday where we're talking about. You can see, right, content, he dips to 26. He sees demand to 27, right? So the reason I want to bring Vitinha up, because there was him and there's one more player that I can't remember that showed some sort of demand. Not great, by the way. 1,000 coins is not. You're looking for sort of 26, for that to go to like 29 plus, right? But what you will see today is he did show demand, and I think it's really interesting that he got down to 25 and did get up to 28 and a half, and it's probably his peak right now. It's recording this midday Sunday. So it almost is perfect, right? You see, he showed demand, and he does so much better than Diani, because basically all you're seeing is people are buying this card for their team. There's demand, which means when he dips overnight Saturday, and this will be the same tonight, by the way, overnight Sunday into Monday, when he dipped, there was previous demand the next day. So look, he shows the same demand in the morning. It really isn't rocket science with meta, but I know a lot of people are new to it. So yeah, just look out for that. Look out for that same demand. But it's why we didn't touch meta on the weekend, or yesterday really, at all. Meta's a great, great buy on these Saturday night and Sunday night windows, especially Friday night as well, but a little bit different with Pogba. But yeah, the reason we didn't touch was basically that lack of demand. Vitinha is the best one I've seen, but pretty much everything was just flatlined. Right, so that is what's happened on the weekend, but what you're all interested in is what is coming and how can we make coins from it. Starting with the leak that should be out today, Sunday, 6 o'clock, is this Max 88 Hero SBC. I'm not too interested in trading this. The best play normally with these SBCs has actually been, and it's the same with icons, is to buy them just before the SBC drops when they get low. And then when no one packs these big cards here that you're seeing on this promo image, right? When no one packs Stam, when no one packs Hazard, when no one packs Di Natale, because the weight on these packs is awful, they then bounce back into the evening as people start to buy them back from that panic sell, right? So if you've got a lot of coins, we're talking 1 million plus at least, you can look at these cards in the panic sell before 6 o'clock today. If any of them get low, and again, we're only talking if any of them get low, then you can look to buy, right? If not, and it's a bit flatline, I'd avoid it, okay? This SBC will probably not be good value, but it's a gamble SBC, so a lot of us will be completing it. I'm interested in a few of the other things coming this week, not as much as Hero SBC, but it does come today, so we should have, just jump into it a little bit. The next thing we've got is this Icon SBC, which I believe could come today. I don't know when this is coming. It could come today. It could come Wednesday. It's awful, boys. I'm not going to lie. This is a bit of an IQ test. I just wouldn't complete this unless, you're, Perez's son or something. I don't know. Just avoid that one, boys. Shouldn't affect the market too much. It will affect these 3 icons. That's about it. The next thing we've got is Foden coming. So Foden's coming as I believe as an objective. This is official stats, by the way. So no playstyle plus, but he does have some great stats. He has 91 dribbling. I think he's an objective, if I'm right in saying. He might be an SBC, but no playstyle plus. Probably an avoid for me. Let me know, boys, what you're thinking about this one. Like I say, not a big fan. I don't think this one will shift the market too much. The only thing to look out for with this Foden SBC is if, for whatever reason, he's like uber cheap, like the Mateta SBC was a few weeks ago, it's likely that he can bring informs off discard or bring low-rated fodder up if he's like, an 83 and an 84 rated squad, or maybe an 82 and 83, something ridiculous, but I don't see that being the case. There is one more thing that is leaked, and it's the main talking point of probably the rest of this video, but we'll jump into a few other things as well. And it is that in Season 2, boys, we are getting these Silver Stars icons. These are the official players we're getting. I don't think these are the official confirmed stats and playstyles. They might be, but I'm not sure if they are. What that does mean is the silver cards that we made so many coins off this week are going to be absolutely amazing to trade again. You see me at the start of the video. I've made a bit of a play on silvers. I don't think I've made the smartest move, but with how many coins I've got in the account, it's what I've gone for, so I'll explain that. But in general, this should mean that we're getting at least some form of the silver tournament back. Will it be the exact same as what we had last season? I don't know. I think it has to be. It has to be a silver tournament, and it has to be, using the silver cards. So I'm not sure what else it can be. But this is coming. This has to be really excited for silvers this week, and how we, can double, triple our coins off it, which we can jump into. But yeah, boys, that is all the official leaks. There is one more thing possibly coming that I'll jump into after the silvers, which could also be a huge coin maker. But these are all the official leaks, okay? So, boys, silvers. How are we going to make coins this week, right? If you're wondering what this page is, this is the FUT GG. I've gone to players. I've sorted by silver rare, and then all I've done is sorted by GG rating, which is their sort of like meta rating. I believe FUTBin has something similar. They're all great. It just shows you pretty much, according to their algorithm, what are the best silver meta cards in the game. And if you look, some of these cards are still sitting around discard, which is just mental, considering that a week ago, these cards up at 2.6. He's been as high as, I think he's 2.6. So he's discard. If you bought, boys, I know that's like a 2,000 coin jump, by the way. But if you buy this card at discard and sell for 3,000 coins, you're looking at like what is that, a 7-8x on your coins? Ridiculous. So many of the cards are still discard. There's 2 or 3 different plays you can make. Let me run it down for you here and how you can do this, okay? we have got the silver spreadsheet in Discord with all my favorite silvers on to do this with. The free Discord in the description. Go and join it, right? Play number 1 is simply flipping these silvers, which you can do all day, every day for this rest of the week, right? If we jump into Langas as one random example, you can do it with anyone, right? He's currently 1.1 thousand coins. But what you'll already see with these silvers is they have crazy fluctuations because they're basically, less supplied than gold cards. So he sold for 2k, then 1.3, then 1.4. And within there, he will have sold from everywhere from 500 coins up to 2,000 coins. Obviously, FUT doesn't pick up every silver sale, but he'll sell for crazy fluctuations. And even better, on bid, you can win this card for, I think it's below like 600 coins. Ridiculous, especially overnight, like UK time, when less people are on the game. What you can win these cards for on bid. But basically, what you will see is that in a day, these cards fluctuate a lot. So 1,000 down to 700, down to 1.3k. But they're not the jumps we're looking for. What I'm looking for is win these cards on bid for like 400, 500 coins. Win them on snipes for 400, 500 coins, which I promise you is not hard to do. These cards are super easy to win on bid and to snipe for huge undercuts. And then you can just insta-sell them for what he sells for, which seems to be 1.3 to 2,000 coins. And you can do this all day, every day this week using the silver spreadsheet in Discord. It is crazy. Instant flips. If you're below 50 or 100,000 coins, or even if you're below 500,000 coins, I think this could be the most efficient way to get to 1 million coins this week if you just grind your arse up on this, okay? Number 2, and I think the smartest play here, as well as flipping them, which you can do as well, is the club stock pretty much all the silvers that we have got in our Discord, right? Again, basically all the silver spreadsheets in Discord is a compilation of all these meta silvers, and then you're getting rid of some of them that don't do too well because they're League and Nation, like this, Pachowski, whatever his name is. But it's a list of pretty much most of these silvers, and all club stock in them is, right, is look to get one of everyone in that spreadsheet at the cheapest price possible. So, for example, El Yamik is currently 5,000 coins. If you're just going for one card, overnight you could win this on bid for 3 or 3,500 coins, or even a snipe for 3 or 3.5, or even less, right? You can win it for really cheap. Just buy one, throw it in the club, and move on to the next player, and basically throw one of all of these cards into the club, right? I think in the spreadsheet there's about 100, 150 cards. Basically, throw one of every single one into the club and forget about it until the silver tournament is out. For example, this Claudio Gomez, he's currently 1.4 thousand coins. Get your one in the club for less. Get it for like 700, 800 coins on bid. Spend a bit of time to win that on bid or on snipe. And then look, when these cards go back up, he was 9,000 coins. So he's ridiculous because that could be a 10x on your coins. The average sort of, investment you're going to make, or the average sort of profit you're going to make is about 5 or 6 times your coins. So go and do a 50k to 100k club stock and you'll make 250 to 500, possibly more coins, like 500k coins when the tournament does drop. So please, 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 at a minimum, go and club stock one of all of these silvers that we've got in the Discord. I can't recommend it enough. However, I did say that I've made an interesting play on these silvers, which is basically, if you can't already tell from the start, I have gone all in on these silvers. Yes, that is right. I have gone 2.2 million coins all in on these meta silvers. It is insane how much time I spent bidding these as cards. Let me jump over to the web app because I can't remember exactly how many we've got, but it's like a ridiculous number. So boys, I've actually got 1,791 of these meta silvers. Do I recommend that you go all in on these silvers? No, because I don't think it's worth it unless you've got uber amounts of coins, because basically if you put 100k into these silvers, you could make loads, but with that 100,000 coins, you could make even more in the meantime on a smaller budget and then invest the coins later down the line, right? So if you're on 500,000 coins or more, yes, it's a possibility, but you have to be open to the fact that this could be a week or a 2-week long hold. I am okay with that because I can see me going from 2 million coins to 5 million coins plus. However, it could be a massive hold. I think if you're on less than 500,000 coins, I'm not trying to, steer you away from it. I just don't think it's efficient. So if that is the case, then what is more efficient? Well, we've got a few different options. The first one I've got is 83 rated fodder. This is such an obvious play, right? This is the graph for 83 rated fodder, the index. And what you can see is it's been coming down to pretty much discard. And then recently it's took a rise. However, I don't think you're too late on this one if you get in soon. There is rumored to be a party bag coming soon. That's what I was talking about before from the leaks when we said that was all the official leaks. The unofficial leak that I've heard is there a party bag coming soon, which means 83s could skyrocket from that, which means you can still get in on this, right? If you go to players, SBC's cheapest player by rating, 83s are starting to come off discard, but what you can see is, even if they are 800 coins, you can still mass bid on these for 700 coins, which is the absolute discard price, and that is the only price I really like getting in on 83s. I think if you can't get them at discard, just ignore them. They never rise too much normally, so you do need to make every coin count when you're doing low-rated fodder. But yeah, if you can mass bid on these 750 coins, you could do some huge profit when we do get some more SBCs throughout the week. And the reason I'm so confident on 83s is not just because of that party bag, it's for a second reason as well, which is what we have seen previously with Fodder and in previous years is low-rated fodder starts to do well when high-rated fodder is really high. So as you can see, 88's up to 18,000 coins, 87's up to 13,000, and 86s are really high as well. These could probably go even higher with more SBCs like the party bag and different things, right? But what you often see is when high-rated fodder is really high, EA still want to price some SBCs quite cheap, like a party bag or whatever it is, right? And what they do then is, rather than using one squad with more high-rated players, they will use a few different squads with low-rated players because they want to keep it cheap, which means they're going to have to start using 83 and 84 rated squads more in SBCs to keep them, not being ridiculously expensive. So not only does the party bag raise them, I think just start, player SBCs they're going to start to bring out will have to raise these 83s until high-rated fodder comes down a little bit. So in general, if you can pick up any of these 83s at 700 coins on bid, on mass, at least do a club stock at a minimum. But I don't mind having 50 to 100 on your transfer list as long as you save some coins to trade with in the background. It could be an all-in if you've got a lot of coins. I'm personally in on silvers. These are another great opportunity, but we do have one more that I really like. The last one that I really like is out-of-pack investments on these Ultimate Scream cards, and there's a few that you should be looking at if you're new to trading. Let me break it down to you. We're basically going to be looking at the discard ones. Yes, some cards like Mbuemo could do amazing. He's down to 200,000 coins, and as you can see, he has just been coming down pretty much consistently, and he will definitely have a great buy window, which I think could be tonight. But if you're on less coins or you're newer to trading, I think such an obvious play on these cards in the active squad is these discard cards, especially this Due. This is Haley as well is coming to discard, and DaCosta and Papa Fornals are very close as well. But this Due is basically a discard, right? Discard for this card is 10,500 coins, like informs. And reason that this is so good compared to other promos, and the reason I'm suggesting more of an investment rather than a club stock on the discard cards, is because these are live cards. I think on the 5th of November, we get the first 99 stat boost on these Scream cards. So imagine this Due with 99 pace, 99 defending, 99 physical, or even 99 passing or dribbling will make him such a good card in game. So we get that on the 5th of November. He'll be out of packs. If you can pick up this card tonight, Sunday night, with the last of the major weekend league supply, right? On bids will probably be better. You can look for snipes as well, but on bids as well, at this 11,000 or below price point, that's the price point I like. He's up at 12 at the minute. I think he should come down tonight, unless people early invest. If you can get him for 11,000 or ideally below 11,000 coins on a mass investment, it might be a longer hold. You might be looking to hold until the 5th of November, but selling in that hype, I can see a card like this getting towards 15 or 20,000 coins. And if EA, for whatever reason, decides to give him 99 pace or 99 defending even, then I think you can see this card getting to 20 or 30,000 coins. So you can see why I find this a super good investment, because he's discard, low risk. It could, bit of a brain dead one. You don't need to be the best at trading. Keep an eye on this one tonight, boys. If you're on lower budget, maybe just throw one in the club for the cheapest price you can get. If you're on higher budget, I really like this one. If you are, a more experienced trader and you back yourself a little bit more, you can look at some of the other ones. The ones I really like, boys, are Mbuemo, Muller, and even Karchawi. It all depends on what 99 stats they get. I do like this Cabal as well with Anticipate Plus, but I've seen little demand on him for some reason recently. So Muller, Karchawi, and Mbuemo are the three higher, more expensive ones I like. But timing the buy on them three is obviously a lot more important. Boys, how many coins are we all making this week? You guys in the Discord and on the live streams are telling me you're smashing it. If not, and you're new to trading, no worries. We will get you there. If you could leave a like on the video as well, it really does help us out, I think, on like the algorithm and stuff. And if you've got any questions whatsoever, drop them in the comments, in the Discord, on the live streams, like I keep saying. Just drop them anywhere. I will get to all of them. Have a good rest of your weekend and a good week, boys. And until next time, I'll see you all in a bizzle.